often think about that story that woman was taken out of man.
You know, if she were growing up today, she might have been the governor or the senator of the family rather than my father or me.
Evan Bayh on his mom Marvella and her impact on women in America. And the new massive girls-focused athletic complex coming to Northwest Indiana named in her honor. Plus, how Indiana businesses are connecting with young Hoosier high schoolers to get them to explore a potential career in engineering. And two sides of the menu on the state of dining in Indiana. First, a Morgan County landmark closing. And Hoosier restaurants are making it big with French cuisine, taking a bite out of croissant hotspots in this month's Trendiana. Inside Indiana Business is next.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gerry Dick. Presented by Elevate Ventures and Indiana University.
You know, she grew up at a time when there weren't, frankly, the opportunities for women, athletically, academically, professionally, that there are today. And so that she would be a part of an effort, her legacy would be part of an effort to help girls and young women fulfill their potential, in this case, athletically, but also from a leadership standpoint. I think she'd be very happy and very proud of that. And we certainly are.
Former Indiana Governor and U.S. Senator Evan Bayh on the legacy of his late mother, Marvella Bayh. She was the inspiration for Title IX legislation, shepherded by her husband Birch, which really has had a profound impact on hundreds of thousands of girls and women over the past 50 years. And now that incredible legacy about to grow with the Marvella, a $100 million first-of-its-kind destination that is focused on girls and young women in sports and leadership. It is a sprawling campus at Fair Oaks Farms in Northwest Indiana that will be home to unparalleled resources, indoor and outdoor courts and fields for basketball, volleyball, soccer, flag football, and more, as well as a 5,000-seat indoor arena for championship events and tournaments. And there is expected to be economic impact as well in the form of approximately 1,000 new jobs and a big boost to the region's tourism and sports economy. The bottom line, girls and women's athletics wouldn't be where it is today without the Bayh family's influence in the passage of Title IX. Mary Rachel Redmond here now with more. Mary Rachel.
Well, Gary, by definition, the name Marvella means a miracle to marvel at, extraordinary, marvelous. All words that perfectly sum up not only the mission of this new complex dedicated to girls' sports, but also the woman who inspired its very creation, Marvella Bayh.
Marvella Bayh is a leader in the movement for women's rights. She was prominent in the speaking and debating. In fact, went to a national contest. It so happened at the same time there was a student from Purdue University by the name of Birch Bayh participating in that contest. She won. From that point, I believe he decided that if you cannot beat her, join her.
I am woman, hear me roar. I often think about that story that woman was taken out of man, not out of his head to top him, nor out of his feet to be trampled underfoot, but out of his side to stand equal to him.
The year was 1978. Marvella Bayh took to the stage to debate outspoken conservative activist Phyllis Schlafly.
The Equal Rights Amendment says equality of rights under the law.
To the woman today trying to make her place in this world, whatever she chooses her place to be.
She was very talented in her own right. She was governor of Girls State and then president of Girls Nation at age 18 and got to meet Harry Truman way back in the day. And, you know, if she were growing up today, she might have been the governor or the senator of the family rather than my father or me. But women didn't have quite those opportunities back then. She wanted to go to the University of Virginia.
Imagine my sadness when we went for the interview to find that although I was an honor student, almost straight A's, and had all the credentials, simply because I was female, they wouldn't even consider me.
It was Marvella's rejection from the University of Virginia that laid the stage for U.S. Senator Birch Bayh to pass legislation banning gender-based discrimination in education. Known as Title IX, it came into law in 1972.
My father always thought that girls, women, wives, sisters, daughters should have the same opportunities as us guys, and she really helped urge him along in that direction.
That's a special story in a couple of ways. Sometimes as people, we get rejected, but that rejection can turn into something good. So Marvella's rejection inspired something that changed more lives than she probably could ever imagine.
What we were trying to do was to see that women were treated equally.
Because of Title IX, I got the opportunity to reach my dreams and my goals.
It's opened doors and everything. You and I wouldn't be sitting here today.
That in itself is an inspiration, which is why we'll have Marvella's story featured at our museum.
Former Indiana Fever president Allison Barber is now chair of the Marvella Foundation and is helping to raise money to fund scholarships for girls to attend Marvella, designed to be much more than just a sports campus.
So imagine that a girl will come to the campus and compete in all the sports. In between their games, they'll go to the Marvella Success Center. Well, they'll have these opportunities to really have some fun learning experience that will really create this 360 approach to girls. That's the goal, is when it's not just sports, it's life training. We know that 94% of women in C-suite positions in America played sports.
Marvella, a fitting tribute to an Indiana woman who spent most of her life advocating for an equal playing field, unknowingly paving the way for girls to have opportunities like the one that now bears her name.
I'm a proud Hoosier, and so the fact that we are the birthplace of Title IX is something that we should be really proud of and be bold about explaining and sharing with people outside of our state, and Marvella will do just that.
Hopefully it'll be successful for many years to come, and young ladies and girls from around the country can come here to Indiana. And the fact that it coincides with the time when Caitlin Clark is the talk of the town, and Tamika Catchings has also been supportive. So there may be a harmonic convergence here that will help this be successful. And if it leads the next generation of young women and girls to go on and be successful and to win championships and do us all proud, well then, what a great legacy.
And Allison Barber tells me as soon as the ground unfreezes, work will begin on the Marvella complex, and it's a tight turnaround with the expectation that Marvella will be up and running in 2026. So just a little over a year to build this massive one-of-a-kind complex.
Yeah, this is a big project. It's kind of like a Disney World for women's and girls sports.
Absolutely. It's going to be the best equipment, the best nutritionist for girls, designed for girls, and I kind of wish it were around when I was playing soccer.
Great, thanks. Great look at that story. Thanks, Mary Rachel. Well, the city of Fort Wayne is upping its game to grab a chunk of the youth sports tourism dollar. Plans in the works to turn a vacant lot near the Riverfront District into an event space to host multiple sporting events and sports. The proposed multi-million-dollar North River Fieldhouse expected to create about 900 new jobs and generate $36 million into the Fort Wayne economy. Construction expected to begin in 2026. And on the campus of IU Indianapolis, shovels hit the dirt this week to build a new $110 million arena named after the late Jim Morris, a legendary figure in Indiana and key driver in central Indiana's business and civic communities. The gym, as it will be known, spelled J-I-M, will seat 4,500 people and include basketball and volleyball courts, and is expected to be finished late next year. Up next, a big feather in the cap for Notre Dame. And Indiana's economy making waves on the water. What's pushing cargo shipments to near record levels? Those stories and much more when we return.
Here's what's making news around Indiana. Brought to you by the Indiana Association of Realtors. Indiana's 21,000 realtors. The neighbors you know, the experts you can count on.
Well, Indiana debunking the perception of being landlocked. The state making big money moving freight along the Ohio River and Lake Michigan. The ports of Indiana reporting its 3 operations, Mount Vernon and Jeffersonville on the Ohio, and Burns Harbor on Lake Michigan shipped some 13 million tons of cargo last year. That's the second highest number in state history. Ag, coal, and steel made up the bulk of those shipments. The ports of Indiana also announcing more than $200 million in public and private investment last year. A northern Indiana-based company boosting its presence at home. The Lear Group, which makes bed caps and other accessories for trucks, is shutting down operations in Mexico and bringing the bulk of that work back home to Elkhart. The move expected to create up to 50 new jobs. Bragging rights for the University of Notre Dame in South Bend. Forbes naming Notre Dame as America's best large employer for the first time. The university has appeared on the best large employer list 6 times and was named the top educational institution on the Forbes list last year. In Southwest Indiana, a new study showing economic momentum is growing in the region, especially when it comes to new partnerships and attracting people to live and work there. The Evansville Regional Economic Partnerships Attraction Initiative, known as Talent EVV, is currently working with community stakeholders and setting goals for the next 5 years.
We're excited about what the future holds for the Evansville region, and we think that this strategic refresh is really going to position us to differentiate ourselves to other regions, not just across the state, but hopefully across the Midwest.
The final Talent EVV 2030 strategic plan scheduled to launch in October, and you can learn more about the group's initiative and also read that full annual report at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Advanced manufacturing and logistics are critical to Indiana's economic health. 840,000 workers contributing more than $150 billion to the state's GDP, nearly 40% of Indiana's total economic output. But there are a number of challenges facing the state's advanced manufacturing and logistics sectors, starting with productivity.
The most meaningful success will be around wages, productivity, and investment. Are Hoosiers able to get meaningful, well-paid careers in advanced manufacturing and logistics? And are companies making the investments needed to continue to provide those meaningful opportunities for employment?
Connexus Indiana just released a new 6-year strategic plan to address challenges within those industries. Well, still ahead for you, a new Indiana innovation that is helping to get rid of dog breath. We show you how a Fort Wayne-based company is revolutionizing the ways to care for canine dental care. And we'll have more in this week's Business of Health.
Tip number 1 to keeping your dog's teeth clean and healthy: let him chew. But not on just anything. First, make sure it's safe. No sticks, no rocks, and be careful about bones.
A Fort Wayne-based company taking a big bite out of making sure your dog's teeth are healthy. About 80% of dogs have gum disease by the time they're 3 years old, which can lead to some serious health problems. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta tells us how a startup now in Fort Wayne has a patent to help pooches, right?
That's right, Gary. This is great progress for them. Sniffing out a solution for dogs' tooth and gum health is major, as any dog parent can tell you. The current answer is a professional teeth cleaning at the vet's office, which is very expensive, costing around $500. Well, Fort Wayne-based St. Roch Veterinary has created a weapon to destroy the bacteria that accumulates on dogs' teeth and gums, which leads to the gum disease. Called GingiGuard, the patented gel stops the growth of harmful bacteria that causes plaque while preserving the good bacteria in the mouth. More than 100 Hoosier dogs were part of the startup's field trial, which applied the gel after a standard dental cleaning. GingiGuard delayed plaque returning for at least a month, when it typically reappears after just days. The startup is a subsidiary of Topico Scientific, also in Fort Wayne. Local veterinarian Dr. Kevin Kaywood and retired physician Dr. William Cass developed the technology with other collaborators and are now looking to partner with an animal health company to take GingiGuard to market. And a major benefit for the dog's human, in the field trial, GingiGuard also made doggy breath disappear.
That is maybe a major selling point, if not the major selling point, because if you go back in the history of Colgate and Crest, it was advertised as cleans your teeth as it cleans your breath. That was an old advertising line, and it sells a lot of toothpaste because it's a benefit. And having the dog up close or on the couch with you or close, certainly everybody knows when the breath is bad and the gums are infected.
And GingerGuard hinges on the startup's technology, which you can see in this lab video as it destroys bad bacteria that cluster to form a biofilm. Now, these biofilms are the same culprit in human ailments like diabetic foot ulcers, so this could open the door to treatments for humans. The Indiana Donor Network is celebrating a record high for organ donations in 2024 that it says saved more than 1,200 lives. This is the 9th consecutive year the network has outdone its own record. Last year, the network transplanted nearly 1,400 donated organs. That's a 22% increase compared to the previous year. And an update on the pool that was built inside Lucas Oil Stadium for the Olympic swim trials. You may recall the pool is getting a second life in Fort Wayne. It was disassembled and is currently in storage there. Just days ago, the Northwest Allen County School Board voted to partner with the Fort Wayne Swim and Wellness Alliance. The school district wants to bring the Olympic-sized pool to a new natatorium it hopes to build. Most of the funding for the $54 million project would come from the school district, followed by the Fort Wayne Swim Alliance, state grants, and donations. A referendum is planned for November because the school district would need to increase its property tax revenue.
Great follow-up to the Olympic swim trials, which had a great impact.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's really cool to think that pool lives on too.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Kylie.
Yep.
Time now for our Eye on Education, brought to you by PNC Bank.
And we begin with a big number coming out of Purdue University. Purdue launching the largest fundraising campaign in school history. The goal is to raise $4 billion by 2030. The campaign comes at a time when Purdue is experiencing growth on its West Lafayette campus in a big way. Enrollment up by almost 6,000 students at the start of the fall semester. Purdue also planning to put a chunk of the money toward expanding its campus in downtown Indianapolis. It is National Engineers Week, and 2 events in central Indiana aimed at getting young Indiana students interested in careers in engineering and manufacturing were held this week.
So we build bridges, and we blow up bridges, and we build new bridges. So.
Well, we stopped by Heritage Christian School in Indianapolis this week, where a team of civil engineers from Indianapolis-based Parsons Corporation told students about the need for more engineers in Indiana. They explained what projects civil engineers work on and shared some examples from around the state.
And they can kind of think, well, gosh, I'm good at math and science. I think I could maybe be an engineer. And so it just gives them an opportunity to kind of plant that seed, and then hopefully they explore it.
And this was one of, get this, more than 200 classroom visits across 39 counties organized by the American Council of Engineering Companies of Indiana. And more than 1,000 high school students from some 42 schools across central Indiana getting a first-hand look at operations at Major Tool and Machine in Indianapolis. The company's annual manufacturing day aimed at attracting and retaining young talent here in Indiana.
If we can get more young adults coming out of high school to pursue careers in manufacturing, so whether that's going off to college and then coming back into manufacturing, or leaving straight out of high school and getting a job, it matters to the state.
Major Machine and Tool makes a heavy-duty machine parts for a variety of industries, including aerospace, defense, and power generation. And we'll be right back.
In 1944, our great-grandfather, Forrest Gray, had a vision. He wanted to create a place where people could enjoy satisfying meals made with love and care.
And hungry Hoosiers have come in droves over those past 80 years. Lines out the door with people salivating over Gray Brothers fried chicken, green beans, mac and cheese, and of course, some homemade pie for dessert. The Gray family making a big decision this week, shutting down its restaurant in Mooresville to cut costs and also to relocate the restaurant. Gray Brothers will continue to operate until the $10 million property, that's what they're asking for it, in Mooresville is sold. No word yet on where the new Gray Brothers will be located. A lot of people will be interested, though. Well, from iconic Hoosier comfort food to Indiana restaurateur, entrepreneurs making a mark with a French staple. Yelp's Brittany Smith with more on the croissant craze sweeping across Indiana.
Thanks, Gary. With innovation and interest on the rise on the area of croissants, we thought it was a great time to tap into Yelp data to find the 5 best spots for croissants across the state of Indiana. We're kicking things off here at Coat Check Coffee in the heart of downtown. Conveniently located halfway up the Mass Ave district, you can pop your way between shops and restaurants and then take a break at Coat Check Coffee for their fabulous croissants as well as their coffee program. You'll find innovative treats like the chocolate tahini babka, classics like the chocolate croissant, and a wonderful offering menu for vegan croissants as well. This is a really fun spot to pop in for meetings as well as co-working. You can find it all under the historic Athenaeum building roof. Next up, we're heading to Greenwood, Indiana for Les Croissants. Tucked away in a strip mall, and you will find yourself some of the most beautiful and delicious fruited pastries. The reviews especially recommend the strawberry croissant filled with vanilla cream and fresh sliced strawberries, as well as the mixed berry croissant filled with blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, and cream. They're also known for their rum almond croissant as another favorite in the Yelp reviews. Next, we're heading north to Lafayette for Smitty Bread Bakery. The owner, Smitty, is a Lafayette local and known for his fabulous sourdough creations. And when it comes to croissants, you have to try their almond croissant as well as their pain au chocolate. In addition to their spectacular croissants, they also offer fresh baked breads daily with rotating flavors like cinnamon raisin and jalapeno cheddar sourdough. We can't talk about croissants without heading to Amelia's with 3 locations in the Indianapolis area, including Fletcher Place, Windsor Park, and the Stutz Building. They bake their bread and croissants fresh daily starting at 4 a.m., and the reviews can't get enough of their cinnamon roll croissant featuring buttery croissant dough, thick layer of caramelized cinnamon sugar, and a buttermilk frosting. One of the things that makes Amelia's especially fun is their rotating croissant offerings that you'll find throughout the seasons that really tap into local ingredients. So if it's tomato season, you'll probably find a fabulous tomato cheese croissant, and so on throughout the seasons. Here you'll also find creative spins and classics all under one roof. Last but not least, we're going to Baugh's Pastry in Valparaiso. Baugh's started in 2019 when the owner Bao moved to Valparaiso from Paris. They fell in love with the city after visiting family in the area, and locals in Valpo can't get enough of her freshly baked pastries. The star of the show at Baugh's is the chocolate almond croissant, with other highlights including a Nutella croissant and creme brulee. For those looking for savory treats, try their ham, apple, and brie open-faced croissant. Well, if that doesn't make you hungry, I don't know what will. Hopefully this gets you a taste of something new to check out in your backyard. I'm going to throw it back to you, Gary.
That does indeed make me very hungry. Thanks very much, Brittany, as always, for a great report. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Indiana Business. We leave you this week where we started the show, in northwest Indiana, down on the farm at Fair Oaks Farms in Newton County. I'm Gerry Dick. Go out and make it a successful week.